In this video I want to give you a first person view of driving the ABARTH 595, and this is the Turismo version, as you can see. It's also an automatic, so you flip the key open the door, and you hear a robotic sound. It always does that. And you're welcomed with an ABARTH sign. I will show you a little bit more once I start the engine. Again, you get an ABARTH welcome in the TomTom, which is a blue and meat system. The other car is the Suzuki Swift Sport ZC33S. And also want to give you a view of the interior. Very nice one-piece chairs like the Suzuki also has, but these are leather, and 2 seats in the back as well. So then it's not a start button, but you just put the key in, ignition, feet on the brake, and normally, yeah, there you go. So as your instrument cluster, it also changes once you hit the sport button. The sport button is sitting there, so I will press it and watch it change. So now it's more sporty. The exhaust system is a record Monza, which you now hear. Put on my safety belt, and you can of course open the roof, which I would always recommend when it's warm enough. You just press the button until it stops, then you press it again, and you get the full experience. Then down with the handbrake and into reverse. There you go. Into the sunlight. This really gives you that holiday feel. So even a small trip, like I'm doing now. So it secures, as you heard, it secures the doors automatically. So it's just an anti-carjack feature. Swift does not have that. Audi A1 of my wife did, and now she has a BMW which also does have that feature. So it's more of a European thing, because also this is an Italian car, the ABARTH one. So for upshifts, you can just use the automatic to do it for you, or you can do it manually with these flippers that are at the steering column. So on the left you have the downshift, right, you have to upshift as I just performed. Downshifting. And of course you can also press the sport button again, and then you're in normal mode, which will just make the engine a little bit more docile. So a smoother ride, so to say. Also a lot less power, of course. Because once in sport mode, it's not only the reaction to the gas pedal, it's also the turbo pressure maximum that is increased. So that will force more air into the engine, and thereby also increasing performance, of course. Because fuel and air, that mixture will make the engine work harder or less hard, depending on what you have. It gives you performance. What I really like about this car is that it's, as I mentioned, it gives you the holiday feeling. It's not only the sunroof, but you also sit on a leather chair, which I also find adding to the premium experience. Another thing that really helps is that you have a very nice sounding car. Also you have a very nice steering wheel, you have an oversized handbrake, everything is a little bit oversized for a small car. That's nice. So in my opinion, if you would compare this with more an executive type of car, I would compare this with a baby Maserati, because this being a Turismo, or a baby Lamborghini, as Clarkson told us it behaves like, because it feels angry and just mischievous. And I will tell you one thing: if you have a Lamborghini, you will baby it perhaps into the city, and also maybe outside of that, because it will cost you enormous amount of money to replace. Also, you will be very careful where to park it. With this ABARTH, of course, similar things could happen to it, but it's a different story, because the car is so much cheaper to begin with. So it gives you many of the advantages of exotic type of car, but less of the drawbacks. If you have to drive for enormous amount of additional distance to get your car safe, or you have a car that's as small as this one, it gives you parking space, or for example, if you want to take friends, you don't have to drive the distance 2 times, because you have 2 people that you can also sit in the back. You have many benefits as compared to a Lamborghini. Maserati, and that's why I mentioned it before, of course has all these characteristics in itself, because it's also a 4-seater. For example, the Gran Turismo or the Ghibli, I think, are 4-seaters. Maybe the Ghibli is even a 5-seater like the Quattroporta is. In some incarnations. I thought there were also Quattroportas with 4 seats, but maybe I'm mistaken. Just correct me at that point. And you also have an interior that is stylized. Of course, it's a lot less stylized than, for example, Maserati or Lamborghini, but you get that special feeling. Also, that you have an open environment that you're sitting in. And of course, it's not a true convertible, because then also these pillars should move away. But that also brings you benefits. One is the additional costs are not that enormous. 2, you have this rigidity and safety feature. And 3, you also have this, in case of an accident, of course, safety, but also the safety will make the chassis a lot more stiff, which improves handling. And you have, even with the roof closed, enough room to seat 4 adults or semi-adults. Yeah, of course, if you're very long, I'm 1.88 m, and when I'm sitting in the back, especially behind me, I'm not having a pleasant time so much. So why is that? Because the leg room is still cramped. Nice tunnel. But also the headroom, I'm not having my head touching the ceiling, which is not a good thing. But yeah, of course, for example, if you have your wife and your wife's a little bit smaller, or your daughter, my wife and daughter will not be as big as me, they will sit there quite comfortably. So because their legs are a little bit less lengthy, less long, they will have less drawback of the leg room. And also because they're not a stall, they don't come into contact with the roof, even in the closed configuration. But the benefit is, once you open it, even I could sit there very comfortably for my headroom, because you were just catching bugs. And because of its small size, as you can see, because of the small size you can park it easier than other cars. Could be car already here. And because it is small, I can still park behind it. Which would not be that easy with your Lamborghini or even your Maserati. And why is that? Also Lamborghini and Maserati are a lot wider. It will be harder to get them to different locations. Not really feeling what is happening there. I think this is better. Well, that was it. I'll give you one blip of the throttle. And that's it. Have a great day.